Imagine having two size 5 ballistic cannons pointed at your ship. That's not just firepower, that's extinction-level damage. While most medium fighters in Star Citizen focus on dogfighting, RSI just created something that flips the entire combat meta upside down. What if I told you there's a fighter that's specifically designed to hunt ships much larger than itself, with the teeth to actually follow through on that promise? When I first heard about RSI's new fighter, I honestly thought it was just another Mantis variant. You know what, I actually didn't even pay attention at first. I was more focused on the Polaris updates. But then I saw those massive ballistic cannons and something clicked. After spending way too many hours analyzing these specs, probably should have been sleeping instead, I realized this is something completely different. The Meteor is what happens when RSI engineers ask, how do we take down a constellation with a medium fighter? And then actually build the answer. Look, I've spent countless hours in medium fighters. Too many hours, if you ask my girlfriend. The Hornet and Gladius have been my go-to ships for years, and this approach changes everything. I've flown practically every fighter in the game, from the nimble Razor to the punch-packing Vanguard, and nothing quite fits this specific niche. This matters because understanding what this ship is actually designed for will save you both UEC and frustration when you eventually run into one or decide to add it to your fleet. What we're looking at is essentially a purpose-built capital ship hunter in a medium fighter frame. In Star Citizen terminology, it's a strike fighter, a vessel designed to punch well above its weight class. Think of it like a mosquito that can take down an elephant, not through a single bite, but through precision targeting of vital components. It's carrying around 30,000 hull hit points, nearly double what a standard Hornet brings to the fight, while maintaining comparable maneuverability stats at 46 pitch and 38 yaw. Those numbers might not mean much in isolation, but when you compare them to something like the Cutlass Black at around 35 pitch, you start to understand how this fighter maintains its edge. Most pilots, myself included initially, misunderstand the ship completely. I jumped in thinking bigger guns, better dogfighter, and got absolutely wrecked by an arrow. The common perspective is that bigger guns equal better dogfighter, but that couldn't be further from the truth here. This ship excels specifically when targeting large, slow-moving vessels, the ones most pilots assume are safe from fighter attacks. The design philosophy here isn't about winning the traditional fighter meta, it's about creating a new one entirely. So
Here's something most Star Citizen content never covers. Projectile velocity matters more than damage per second. These massive size 5 ballistic cannons, officially designated as Leonite cannons, have an ammunition velocity of just 840 meters per second. That's slow, really slow. For comparison, typical laser repeaters, like a Panther series, move at around 1,800 meters per second, and even the much maligned Attrition series still manages about 1,000 meters per second. In a recent battle near Microtech, I went up against an arrow with this loadout and couldn't land a single hit with these main guns. I mean, not one. I was leading my shots like crazy and still missing everything. The projectiles are simply too slow to hit agile targets. I was sweating bullets trying to line up shots, while this arrow pilot was probably laughing his head off watching my massive projectiles sail harmlessly past him. But, and this is the critical point, when I targeted a constellation that was harassing traders near Everest Harbor, those same cannons ripped through its shields and disabled its turrets in seconds. The shield penetration mechanics make these ballistic cannons absolutely devastating against large ships, bypassing their strongest defenses completely. Each shot from these dual cannons delivers approximately 1,600 damage, and they fire in pairs. That's enough to seriously damage or outright destroy most components on larger vessels with just a few well-placed shots. You're probably thinking, why would I spend so much on a ship that can't dogfight effectively? It's a fair question, especially since most combat encounters in Star Citizen involve fighting other fighters. You've likely seen those heated debates on Spectrum. My God, some of those threads go on for days, especially the one where that guy wrote a 5-page essay on why medium fighters are obsolete. The frustration comes from misunderstanding its role, but then, when you realize what it's actually designed for, everything changes. This ship isn't just about its weapons, it's about endurance and self-sufficiency. It's built for extended operations, far from support bases. Unlike typical fighters, it features a complete living space, with a bed, food dispenser, weapon storage, which cleverly deploys from the floor with a hidden button, by the way, and bathroom facilities. The interior design borrows heavily from RSI's more luxurious offerings like the Constellation series, but streamlined for a combat vessel.
during last Jumptown event, I spent 3 days operating independently in Stanton, systematically hunting down larger targets while other fighters had to constantly return to their carriers or stations. 3 days! My org thought I'd crashed somewhere or quit the game. I set up a patrol route between Jumptown and the major trading hubs, picking off medium haulers that thought they were safe because they had outrun the typical fighter screen. The ability to log out in your bed, store personal weapons, and maintain operations without support infrastructure changes the strategic calculus completely. The RSI design language has evolved significantly. Those blue lighting accents throughout the interior aren't just aesthetic. They create a cohesive experience that reduces eye strain during long operations. I used to get headaches after 2-hour sessions in my Hornet. In this thing, 6 hours and I still felt fresh. The cockpit visibility is exceptional too, borrowing the Mantis's panoramic canopy design but with additional armor reinforcement around critical areas. While most pilots were forced back to resupply points, I continued pursuing targets of opportunity across multiple locations. Let's talk about these secondary weapons because they're crucial to understanding this ship's versatility. Beyond those massive size 5 cannons, you've got 3 size 3 hardpoints, one on each wing and one under the nose. These are your dogfighting weapons, and they're what make the Meteor capable of defending itself when smaller ships inevitably come to rescue their larger friends. I've found running fixed laser repeaters here works best. They're your precision instruments when those big ballistics aren't appropriate. The missile loadout deserves special attention too. The Meteor comes standard with a size 4 missile rack underneath, capable of carrying a single S4 missile. I recommend the Typhoon 4 for maximum component damage, or you can swap it for racks carrying 2 S3s, 4 S2s, or even 8 S1s depending on your mission profile. That flexibility means you can tailor your payload to your specific hunting strategy. Last week, I was running security for a mining operation near Aaron Halo when 3 Cutlass Blacks appeared on scan. Normally, in my Hornet, I'd have called for backup immediately. Taking on multiple medium ships is risky business. But this time, I decided to engage. The first pass was, well, embarrassing. I missed almost every shot with those big cannons while trying to dogfight, started sweating, heart racing, thinking I'd just made a massive mistake. The Cutlass gunners were lighting up my shields, and for a moment, I thought I'd overestimated this ship badly.
Then I remembered what this ship was built for. I changed tactics, focusing fire on the lead Cutlass's turret. 2 direct hits and it was disabled. The ballistic penetration bypassed shields and hit the component directly. The pilot panicked, tried to run, but without his gunner supporting him, I could safely position behind and methodically disable his engines. What shocked me most was the reaction from the other Cutlasses. They immediately quantum jumped away. They recognized what they were facing wasn't just another fighter. That engagement taught me something crucial about the Meteor. Psychological warfare is part of its arsenal. When larger ships realize their turrets can't keep you at bay, and their shields aren't protecting their vital components, they often choose to flee rather than fight. This creates opportunities for interdiction tactics that other fighters simply can't capitalize on. Now here's where things get interesting. This ship revolutionizes how we approach asymmetric warfare in Starcitizen. Looking back at Chris Roberts' original vision from years ago, combat was always supposed to involve strategic component targeting, not just shield draining. The Meteor is perhaps the purest expression of that vision we've seen in a fighter-class vessel. With 240 rounds per gun, and each shot dealing 1,600 damage, you have approximately 5 minutes of continuous fire, more than enough to systematically disable any large ship's critical components. For beginners, focus on targeting turrets first to neutralize the threat. They're typically exposed on the surface and easier to hit. Advanced pilots can target power plants or thrusters for maximum effectiveness, though this requires more precision and knowledge of ship layouts. I've developed a targeting priority system that works remarkably well. Turrets first, then engines, then power plants, and finally weapons. This methodical approach turns even heavily armed vessels into drifting targets. When the improved component damage model fully implements, this approach will become even more devastating. The Meteor also benefits from RSI's renowned durability. Those 30,000 hit points aren't just for show. They're distributed across a reinforced frame that's designed to absorb punishment while you're working on disabling your target's defenses. The shield configuration is interesting too. Dual military-grade shields provide excellent regeneration rates, essential for a ship that expects to take fire while performing precision strikes.
The Starcitizen community is deeply divided over this ship. On Spectrum, you'll find heated debates about whether it's worth the price tag, or if it's just a whale trap. Reddit threads have dubbed it the Connie Killer, while Discord servers are filled with theory crafting about optimal attack patterns. The economics are worth considering, too. Operating a Meteor isn't cheap, with specialized ammunition costs and higher insurance premiums than standard fighters. But the potential payout from disabling valuable cargo ships might offset this. Some veteran orgs are already planning specialized squadrons. Imagine a flight of these, accompanied by EMP ships like the Sentinel or Hawk, to create the ultimate capital hunter team. The tactics are evolving rapidly. One Meteor disables turrets, another takes out engines, while the EMP ships keep electronic systems disrupted. As we like to say in the verse, Size doesn't matter when your engines are dead. Remember when the Polaris concept sail promised similar hit-and-run capabilities against larger ships? This is that concept realized in a fighter frame, and the strategic implications are enormous. Speaking of strategy, the Meteor excels in several specific mission profiles that no other fighter can match. Convoy disruption becomes viable when you can systematically disable multiple medium transports without needing to destroy them. Recovery operations benefit from your ability to precisely disable a target without destroying valuable cargo. Even bounty hunting takes on new dimensions when you can disable a ship's escape options without killing the occupants. The power management system deserves special mention too. Unlike most fighters that struggle with power allocation, the Meteor's robust RSI power plant provides enough juice to run those energy-hungry ballistic cannons while maintaining shield strength and maneuverability. The cooling system is similarly over-engineered, preventing weapon overheating even during sustained fire, a critical factor when precision component targeting requires patience. Here's exactly how to use this ship effectively. First, identify larger targets. Constellations, caterpillars, or starfarers are ideal. Second, approach from unexpected vectors, preferably from below or behind, using terrain or debris fields for cover when possible. The Meteor's cross-section signature isn't tiny, but its profile can be minimized with proper approach angles. Third, use your superior maneuverability to position yourself where turrets have minimal coverage. And I learned this the hard way. Coming in from directly behind a hammerhead is still suicide. Those rear turrets will shred you before you can say, mistake. Fourth, focus fire on defensive systems first. Take out those turrets with 2 to 3 well-placed shots. The ship's targeting system allows for precise component targeting, but you'll still need practice to master the lead indicators with those slow-velocity projectiles. With ballistic weapons, you'll be causing damage through shields, even on capital-class ships. For missile loadouts, I recommend keeping the size 4 racks with cross-section missiles for targeting specific components. They're less likely to be fooled by countermeasures when you're close enough for a precision strike. Remember to maintain distance from smaller escort fighters. If interceptors engage you, quantum away and reapproach. This ship isn't designed for extended dogfights, and I've lost too many trying to prove otherwise. The fuel efficiency is another overlooked aspect. With a quantum fuel tank larger than standard fighters, the Meteor can operate in remote regions where other combat ships would be stranded. This extended range makes it ideal for patrol operations in lawless spaces, where you might need to wait hours for the right target to appear. Component customization is where veteran pilots will find the most value. While the stock loadout is impressive, swapping to military-grade coolers dramatically improves sustained fire capability. I've experimented with various quantum drives too. The crossfield provides excellent speed for initial positioning, while the more efficient Voyager allows for extended patrol operations. Power plants are perhaps the most crucial upgrade path. The stock JSI power plant is adequate, but upgrading to something like the Regulus powerhouse creates headroom for overclocking those energy-hungry systems. To summarize, this is a specialized capital hunter, disguised as a medium fighter, with living amenities for extended operations, and enough firepower to make larger ships think twice. It represents a fundamental shift in how we approach asymmetric warfare in StarCitizen, offering solo pilots a viable path to threatening larger, more expensive vessels without requiring a full squadron of support. After watching this breakdown, jump into StarCitizen and rethink your approach to anti-capital combat. This ship isn't just a new tool, it's a whole new combat philosophy that rewards patience, precision, and tactical thinking over twitch reflexes and spray-and-pray approaches. Have you ever successfully taken down a larger ship with a fighter? Drop a comment below with your best David versus Goliath story. Join our Discord where we're organizing specialized hunting squads to test these tactics in the verse. Remember, effective combat isn't about having the biggest ship. It's about having the right ship for the right target and the skill to exploit vulnerabilities that most players overlook. Thanks for joining this tactical analysis. Remember, in space combat, it's not the size of your ship that matters. It's how precisely you can target your enemy's weaknesses. With physicalized damage continuing to evolve, understanding these specialized hunters will be more important than ever. And one final thought, the Meteor isn't just changing how we fight larger ships, it's changing how larger ships will need to be escorted and defended. The meta is about to shift dramatically as convoy operators realize those medium cargo runs aren't as safe as they used to be. Those who adapt first will profit most. Fly dangerous, but fly smart.